Zoom hints and tips. So I'll just mention a little bit first about Be Connected. So Be Connected is the organisation, or the part of the government or supported by government to help people in the over 55 demographic become more computer literate and more, should I say, confident to use things like smartphones, tablets, and of course, computers, Windows computers or Apple computers, whatever. And they provide grants to organisations such as retirement villages and so on, and those grants can be spent on running programs like this sort of thing to help people to become more technology savvy. So it's a really great thing because I think we already know that it's like almost a whole generation of people that have missed out on technology. And you only have to look at kids, and kids are using iPhones like they were born with them in their hand. And that's only because they have no fear. They've had it since they've been born almost, and so it's nothing new to them. It's only the older generation where it is something new, and it's something that you have to learn, and in some cases it's almost like totally foreign. And so there's a confidence problem usually. It's once you get it, it's easy, but it's just that confidence and knowing that you can't really break anything, and if you go into something and you can't get out, then just turn it off. So that's the ultimate. So I work for IT for Retirees, and that's our little symbol up the top there next to Stockland. And so that's actually our job. We've got, I think, 20 odd trainers, and we do a lot of work in retirement villages and so on, because when organisations like your retirement village, Stockland, receive a grant from Be Connected, they quite often will bring us in to do class trainings or one-on-one sessions, scams, specific things as well. So that's very good, and we love it. And we're all sort of like retired pretty much ourselves, except for the boss. And we do this as part of our new jobs, I suppose, in our retirement. So we're going to talk about joining a meeting, participating in a meeting, Zoom on different devices, and Zoom etiquette. So first of all, I will tell you that this is being recorded today, and probably need to say that just because of privacy issues. So if you don't want to have your face recorded, then you should probably turn your video off. The recording is not going anywhere. It's only really going to Stockland and IT for Retirees, or anyone, like for you, for example, if you requested a copy, you could get that. And Stockland will have it, of course, as well, to make sure that, they meet the requirements in order to get the grants that they need to get, that they can show how many people, went to the sessions. So anyway, that's just a privacy thing. And so just letting you know that. When you joined this meeting today, you joined from an email with a link in it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you click the link and the link will take you straight to the meeting. So what happens then is that link, you don't even have to have Zoom on your device. The link will install a little plugin, and that is enough to open Zoom and start a meeting for you, even if you didn't have it on your device, on your computer or on your iPad. And the link is probably the fastest way in, because you don't need to do a password or anything like that. You'll just go into the waiting room, and then I will see you and I'll let you in. I suggest that you do download that app, onto your iPad, because it's far easier to start a meeting from there, and everything is easier if you've got the little app. But the link is perfect. I mean, it just takes you straight into the meeting. You'll go into a waiting room. Now the waiting room is like a security, well, it is a security measure. And I think that's because, you know, in the start, you know, when Zoom became very popular very suddenly, when the coronavirus came and people were locked in their houses, and Zoom just took off and everybody started using it because it was a way of keeping in contact. And I think there were people who were very computer literate type people and, you know, hacker type people were able to just bomb into people's meetings unannounced and uninvited. And so they've stopped that. So you now, when you come in on the link, you have to go into a waiting room and the host will then admit you to the meeting. So that works really well. On my screen, it just pops up that, you know, somebody's waiting and I just click admit and you can just come in. The two really important things to do when you first join the meeting is to get yourself off mute and to adjust your camera. And so just have a look at, you know, where your device is going to be. So if you're on an iPad or something like that, you might want to have it, you know, leaning up against a pile of books or something so that it's up, you know, like that, and you can be seen. I'm on a laptop, so my camera is in the lid of my laptop, so I can move, you know, the lid of the computer like that, and adjust it to where I want to be so that I can be pretty much in the middle, not looking down. I've got my computer sitting up on a caravan step, so it's up high and I don't have to, you know, bend or anything like that. So that works out really well. I mean, I have my computer up on that anyway, so it's not just for Zoom. So, and that's usually what takes up a bit of time. Like sometimes last week when we had, you know, some, you know, groups of maybe 7 or 8 coming in, it was taking 15 minutes to get everybody to get their microphones off mute and, you know, activate their cameras and so on. So that's probably the first thing to do. You know, you're joining a meeting, you want to be able to talk and you want to be able to be seen. So they're the things to do first. And then along that bottom, so what happens is when you go into Zoom, there's a little, like a floating taskbar that pops up. Now on a computer, that pops up at the bottom. And as soon as you put your cursor near the bottom, it pops up. So along that line, and this is why people probably at first not sure where to find mute and where to find also the video and so on, they're all on that taskbar, the floating taskbar. Now, on an iPad, they're at the top. So what you see is along the line on a computer, you'll see like the mute, the microphone, it'll have a diagonal line through it. You need to click that so the line comes off and the microphone is active. And then also the video, it will have start video because there'll be a diagonal line through that as well. And you click that and that will come off. The next thing along there is a little box with participants written on it. If you click that, it will open up the list of who are the participants. And if you're on a computer, that list will come on the right-hand side of your screen and it'll probably take up, say, 3/4 of the depth of your screen. And beside the participants is chat. And if you click on that, that chat box will open up underneath the participants. On an iPad, those things will pop up just probably in the middle of your screen. Now, when you chat, you can chat privately with a person, so you can see who the participants are. And you might, so Gilbert, you might want to have a chat with Lynn. So you can just select a private chat with Lynn and nobody else in the meeting will be able to see that. Or you can chat publicly and everybody can see it. Why that's there because Zoom does meetings and it also does webinars. And in webinars, it's typical that you don't have any voice. it's usually the case that you will come into the webinar muted and stay muted. And also you can't be seen, so your video will be turned off as well. And that happens in the, in the settings when the webinar is created. The webinar invitation, it's normally created with everyone on mute and everybody with their videos turned off. And the reason for that is that webinar is more like a training sort of an issue, a training option where it's not necessarily interactive. It's the host is there to inform and tell you something, and then the participants can ask questions or contribute, usually by asking questions in the chat box. So they can type in chats, and quite often what happens is the presenter will have somebody with them that's manning the chat. A webinar could have, usually a lot more people than what a meeting has. I mean, you can have up to 100 people in a Zoom session. In a webinar where it's really like a training thing, you could have like 2 people running the webinar, and you could have 60 people, maybe 80 people even, being trained. You can't allow 80 people to be able to talk because it's the noise. Even the background noise would just kill it. So, and that's what the chats are for there. Usually the person who is manning the chat would be responding to people's questions and so on as they ask them. Or if there's just a few people, you can stop and, answer the questions that have been asked. So we're in a meeting today. We're not in a webinar, but I know some of the sessions in this Stockland Get Online week, some of them are webinars. In our case, we're able to unmute people, and I did a webinar on Monday, and I unmuted everybody because I wanted the participation. I wanted people to join in and ask questions, and there was only 8 of us anyway, so it worked really well, even though they weren't on video. The other thing then is the screen view, what you see. So there's different options as to a speaker view or gallery view. And if you're on full screen and you have a gallery view selected, you'll see all the boxes pop up with all the faces in them, like the Brady Bunch type thing across the screen. If you're on the speaker view, you're just likely to see me in the big picture and then the others around, maybe at the top or maybe at the bottom. On my computer at the moment, everyone's down one side because I've got the presentation showing. So you can have those views even if you're not on full screen. If you're on full screen, those views will take away your chat box, and they'll also take away the participant list. So of course on a iPad, you might see actually a bit different to that, Gilbert, because if there was a lot of people, you wouldn't be able to fit all the people on your iPad on the gallery view. So using Zoom on different devices. So as you've just heard, it is different on a handheld device like an iPad or any sort of tablet. But it's possible to use on tablets. It's possible to use on smartphones even. I've been in meetings where people have been on their phone, like even in their car on their phone. So it is possible. It depends, I suppose, the purpose of the meeting. If you're having a Zoom session because you just want to have a catch up with friends and have a coffee or whatever, then you're probably not going to do it on your phone because you want to be able to see each other. Downloading the Zoom client app. So underneath that, here's the Zoom app. Can you see this Zoom app?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to click that open. So this is what it looks like. Now, it knows that my computer is already in a session. So up here, it's telling me to return to the meeting. Normally, that would say, join a meeting. Here, you can schedule. So if you wanted to start a meeting, this is a good way, easy way to go. So you click on schedule, and then this pops up like a calendar event, it looks like. So it's scheduling a meeting. So your scheduling settings have been synced from your Zoom web portal. So that means I've allowed this to access my email and my calendar.
Oh.
So if I want to make a meeting, so up the top, it's got a topic, Helen Brown's Zoom meeting. I can click here and select a day. So I might select Saturday the 24th, and I might select 8:30 a.m. And here I can put the duration. I could say 1 hour and 1 hour. Oh, I can't. It's on a free version, so I'll have to get out of that. I have to say no hours, 30 minutes. This one here is recurring meeting. Now, if I wanted to have this same meeting every Saturday at 8:30, I can tick that, and it will come up and say, how weekly, monthly, or how often do you want to have that recurring? Daily, weekly, monthly, and you can select what is the intervals of occurrence, and you click the waiting room. So here's the waiting room here, and your video options and so on. And my calendar is here as Outlook. So when I click save, so I'm saving this. It's now scheduling. I don't know if you can see that. It's going around now. That's gone behind there. I'll just bring it to the front. So now it has scheduled. So it was going around like that and saying scheduling. So now what it's done is it's put me into my calendar. It's created a meeting in my calendar. And I don't know how much you use your calendars, but I mean, I use mine all the time. So when I go into my calendar, I can actually create a meeting in there and invite people. So this is what it's now doing. It's put a title in here saying Helen Brown Zoom meeting, which is what we had before. This is required. This is where I can enter the email addresses. And of course, as usual, when you start to enter an email address, it starts recognizing people that you might know or people that you've already emailed before. So if I just go Brown, I can find my husband there. So I click on him and he's in there. I might go, John. I might just put in John. And John pops in. So you can see here, it's got the time zone correct. It's got Saturday 8:30 till 9 o'clock. And then if you go down, it says Helen Brown is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. Here is the link. Join the Zoom meeting. All they have to do is click that blue link and they will come in. There's a meeting ID and a passcode. That's another way of joining a meeting. If you don't, you could just join a meeting and, put in that meeting ID and passcode and you would be into the same meeting. The link is the fastest and easiest way. It's perfect. Everything is in there. The person will get this email, like David Brown and John will get this email, and all they have to do is click this link and join the Zoom on Saturday at 8:30. It will also go into their calendar. And 15 minutes before the Zoom, they will get a reminder. Because see up here, I've got 15 minutes. So choose a reminder. When to be reminded of this event. So I'll get a reminder, they will get a reminder, and it's in your calendar. So you'll see it in your calendar as well, just in case, you're so busy that you're getting invited to lots of things. So yeah, and then if you don't want to have this or something happens and you can't do it, you can go back to your calendar and delete it just with that When you open your calendar, it'll be in there. This is actually, this one here, see up here, it's got HB. So that's my personal Zoom, and that's a free version. It costs nothing to download the app, and you get 40 minutes of free talk time. Now, let me see if I can just open also a, okay, so I'm actually in Zoom here now because this is how I started this meeting. If I start a new meeting, so can you see that? That's my browser, right? Are you able to see that? All right, so if I just type up here and hit enter, zoom.us. All right, so I'm just going to have to move the pictures down a little bit. See here, I can log in, host a meeting, or my account. Now, if I go on my account, this is the meeting I'm in. I can't open another one. I can't open another account because it'll stop this meeting. But I can join from here, I can schedule from here, and I can host from here. I can log in here. I log in here with, this is Stockland Presenter 2. There's also Stockland Presenter 1. So, and I also have IT for retirees, and I also have our Bowls Club. So when I have to use different logins to get in and schedule a Zoom meeting, I go through here. So Lynn, your question is, when you schedule in here, there is, yes, an option to copy. So if I don't know if I can do this. If I go to meetings, so see all the meetings that are here?
Yes.
This is the one we're in. See, it's already on, so you can join or end. But when you click on one of these are all the ones that are set up for this week in the Be Connected week. You click on it and you start it. There's a little option when you open it on the right-hand side. I can't do it because we're in it. To copy the link.
Yep.
Yeah, so you don't need to hit C, control or anything like that. There's a button to copy the link, and then you just go to your email and paste the link. Scheduling a meeting, as you can see, is really, really easy from the app. Another thing to think about too is that an hour of Zoom will use up around about 1 gigabyte of data. So if you want to be sitting outside in your garden on your iPad, you will use 1 gigabyte of data if your iPad is got a SIM card in it and you're running data. So probably better to be on a Wi-Fi. And of course too, it's down to bandwidth and so on about the speed to be able to see people's photos and all that sort of thing. But most Wi-Fi's can accept that easily. So this is what we looked at. This is what the Zoom client looks like. Now, I just showed you how to do schedule because I couldn't do start. So you can start a meeting as well, where you just click on it and immediately you will see yourself on there. And then you can just invite people from the participant list. So if you just go to participants, there's a little option there at the bottom of participants to invite. And you can just, if you could be on the phone with someone and you say, well, let's just have a quick Zoom meeting, and you can just jump in there and do, start a Zoom meeting and invite that person, and they can just get straight in. Scheduling is better, I think, because, you don't normally want to do it straight away, I suppose. But people schedule, say, for example, a lot of Zoom things at the moment, people are doing sort of like with their families, trivia nights and so on Saturday nights, and all the families will get together. So you could book, 7:30 on Saturday night, a session with the family. You just email all the family members and everybody will come, and then you can just all play trivia together or whatever, anything is available. Coffee and cake mornings. Friday night drinks cocktail parties. A lot of people are doing cocktail Zoom parties. A lot of people are doing pizza and beer parties. So, it's just a way of people being able to get together. Also, it's free. So the app itself is free to download, and then you can have 40 minutes of free talk time. So, which is really pretty good, I think. I must admit, at the start of the coronavirus, the Zoom organisation left that open, and people could have meetings for as long as they liked. They were open-ended. But certainly in maybe the last 4 months or so, that's been changed, and you are limited to 40 minutes. And you'll get warnings, like as the time comes closer, you'll be warned that, 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, and so on. And at the 40-minute mark, it just cuts. That's it. There's no bye. It just goes. You can restart. There's no problem with that. So you could just, invite all those people again and restart the meeting. I've done that. I've done that actually 3 times once because, we were meeting on a free version. These versions are licensed. Stockland has bought 2 licenses. So that enables IT for retirees to be able to, run concurrent sessions for Get Online Week, so that, people could be finishing one and starting another. So yeah, once you've got that, a license, you can talk for as long as you like. And you can have up to 100 people in there. Not that you'd want to, but it's possible. Zoom etiquette. So this is, I think, really just a little bit about being mindful of other people and probably also of yourself, what you're doing. It's always nice to introduce, if you're going to be in a meeting where there's a lot of people or people from different places and you don't know each other, a little bit like we are today, then good to introduce yourselves, or whoever is hosting to introduce everybody. Remember that everyone can see you. So even if on your screen you're just a minimized little box somewhere, people can still see that. So if you've got a group of people and everyone's having a chat and somebody says something that you don't agree with, don't roll your eyes like that, because people will see it. And be careful, that you're not sort of like always looking to one side. That's a little bit the problem with the host. The host might be reading something and, not realizing that people not even looking at their face. It's always a good idea too to limit any background noise, because it does seem to be amplified. I usually close the door here because it's normal for me to have the radio going all day long, and it's just background because I like to have something in the background. But in a Zoom meeting, that's amplified and everybody can hear it. So I think you need to be aware that, let's not have any background noise. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, and make the meeting or the session good for everybody. And then just a little bit there about the free version, that 40 minutes is it.